Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you've been well. This video I'm going to be talking about my camping bin and everything in it. If you haven't seen the video I just did last time that said like Camp Like Mike or something like that, I kind of talk about my whole mindset for camping, how to get out there, how to make yourself go, how to enjoy a weekend of adventure rather than a weekend on the couch. So if you haven't watched that video, check it out. I do talk about some gear in that video as well. In that video, I mentioned a big tub that I have that I'm sitting on right now that we're about to get into, that I keep the majority of my camping gear in. And the basis behind that video was, well, the basis behind this aspect of that video was that I keep everything in one big bin, so when I'm ready to go, I can just grab that bin, put it in my truck, and I'm ready to go. Makes camping very easy and convenient. So having one big bin means I probably have a lot of stuff in it, and I kind of do. In this video, I'm just gonna be diving into what I have in the bin. Some things to keep in mind first before we get too far is that I do have other stuff in my vehicle. It's kind of, I have it kitted out to be like a bug out type truck-ish, kind of, but more just prepared generally for most things. So whether that be medical gear, knives, lights, comms, that kind of stuff is all in my truck all the time. So if you see some stuff missing out of this camping bin, it's not all inclusive of like everything you need or could potentially need to go camping. Like a medical kit and stuff I keep in my truck. I have a couple of them in my truck, so that's like one thing that I would probably add if you don't keep that in your vehicle. Actually, no, I'm not even going to recommend that. Keep one in your vehicle. So yeah, that kind of went on a tangent. But if you see stuff that might be missing from my bin, feel free to recommend it. But chances are I probably have it in my truck already. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Actually, before we get into it, there's a few other. So these were another popular topic in my video. I've talked about it a lot of times. I'm a big proponent of wearing shoes in the day-to-day. I wear shoes whenever I travel on a plane. Pretty much I'm always wearing shoes, even when it's hot, when it's cold, I'm wearing shoes or boots. I do that defensively because I want to, well, defensively, offensively, just from a general preparedness mindset, I want to always be ready to run and fight to the maximum capability, and shoes help that. You know, I can sprint over gravel and rocks and have better traction. Anyways, all that to say, I do bring Crocs when I go camping. And half of you probably already unsubscribed to me and disliked the video, but Crocs, these are OD green, obviously. These are like the off-road adventure Crocs or something. I'll link to these if you're interested in them. But I did get some questions on my Crocs. They're super convenient when you're camping. So if you haven't embraced that Croc life yet, you should embrace it. I have a rule. I live in the mountains, so I live in the mountains, and I actually wear my Crocs, around the yard. So I don't wear shoes in my house usually. So I'll keep some Crocs by the front door. So if I need to go out to get my mail, or go out to get something out of my shed, or go out to play with my dog, whatever. If I'm going outside and I'm not like going out, I'll usually toss on some Crocs. As a general rule of thumb, the Crocs do not leave my property unless I'm going camping. So I don't like go to the store with Crocs on. Anyway, those Crocs, OD, if you want OD Crocs, these are the fancy ones. Yeah. Another thing is this trash bag. So this is actually a dry bag. It's what I use for my trash. So I put I actually just keep a bunch of them in the bottom for next time. These trash bags, which I believe are the 20-gallon, kind of tall and skinny. These are like the extra durable ones. Anyway, these go in here and they wrap around, and this, I hang this up on a tree or on my truck or whatever, and this becomes my trash bag. This is a dry bag that I cut the backpack straps off and can hook it to my truck like a trasharoo kind of. But anyway, a convenient little bag. And then that I can roll it up like a dry bag. I have a truck, so I can just throw it in the bed of my truck. Obviously, I don't actually keep much stuff in my cab, but that'd be a good option if you have an SUV, a 4Runner or something, and you might have some gnarly trash that you're worried is gonna rip through the bag and stuff. Bag inside that bag, roll it up. It'll contain the smells for the most part, and it will contain the mess as well. So that's something I always bring camping with me that I didn't mention in my last video anyways. I just wanted to mention it now. Sorry, one more quick tangent because I actually just got this in the mail and remembered. This is a Vertex Commuter Sling, Commuter XL Sling. I don't know, Commuter XL Sling or Commuter Sling XL. In any case, brand new bag by Vertex. It's the sweet Commuter Sling, which I recently did a review on, but bigger. Sling bag means it's only got a single strap. Anyway, this is in the new heather gray color. This one is special because this one can fit an 11.5 inch AR. So this is an AR build that you may have seen, previous build of mine. 11.5 inches with a big long rail here and an AR. This is a pistol with a Gearhead Works brace. So you need to collapse it all the way down for it to fit, but it fits in here. I may use it for a truck bag, kind of why I'm talking about it. This is my new truck gun. This is an 8.5 inch 300 blackout AR pistol with the SBM 3 brace on it. So this fits in here with room to spare. Anyway, cool new bag. If you ever need to pick anything up at Vertex, they gave me a code LLOD. Those 4 letters will save you 25% over there. Anyways, cool truck edition for me. All right, well here it is. This is the Plano Sportsman's Trunk Heavy Duty. If you're wondering, I'm sitting on a different case. This is a Seahorse case. I forget which model, but it's a big case. It's a little different dimensions. It's much heavier duty and therefore heavier, but I'll link to that case as well. I have other things planned for this guy though, so it's not my camping bin. I landed on this. I like the overall shapes and dimensions of this tub. It is durable. You can stand on it. I wouldn't really jump around on it necessarily, or necessarily use it as something you're gonna regularly stand on and put a lot of weight on, but just to show that it can handle that, it's pretty heavy duty. So it's got 4 latches here. It does have wheels on one side so you can lift it up and roll it as well. So lid comes off, you can see it's braced inside here. Whew. And I don't know, maybe we need to zoom in just a little bit more here. All right, so hopefully this works for you. I think it's probably the best angle to kind of show you how everything's laid out. So inside of this tub, I have 2 of these little, they're kind of just these like, I think they're roughly 12 by 12-ish. Like, I think I had them from IKEA or something. They fit in those kind of cubby things. I just had them laying around. You could pick some up online. These are basically the perfect height. They're just, maybe like if they were a 1/4 of an inch shorter, they would be perfect. So when I put the lid down, it kind of squishes these down just a little bit. But anyways, I like separation of gear to organize stuff. So these things work great in here. So I kind of have them separated roughly into kind of food items and then miscellaneous stuff. There's also a lot of good pockets in the side here. So I'm just gonna go through, I'll just go through right to left. So that's gonna be the way things are laid out. This is a little windscreen that you can put around your stove. It's just a little metal thing that you kind of fold out. I have one of these little lighters over here. Over here, I have a small fire kit. So some fire starting sticks in here, a lighter, some stormproof matches, and some of these S-bit style stove burner fuel things that just kind of I use if I need to start a fire. And so that's kind of nice because there's kind of these voids over here. You can fit some gear. I'll show you. I got some other stuff over here. So in this little basket, I have this, which I've never actually used. I just got it. It's one of these camo nettings. I don't really know what I'm going to do with it, but I kind of just wanted to set it up to see some camouflage solutions for like a bug out type setup. So I just kind of got that for some testing. So you'll see a theme here, and the theme is I put a lot of stuff in these gallon Ziploc freezer bags because then I can see what's inside of them. It keeps things kind of separated. And some of these things like soap and whatever, if it springs a leak somehow or something, at least it's kind of somewhat contained to that section of stuff. So in here is kind of cleaning and sanitation. I have these, they're called fitness wipes. They're like big wet wipes basically. So you can kind of give yourself a pseudo shower. Obviously not a real shower, but you can wipe your bug spray off or your sunscreen or your sweat at the end of the day if you don't have like a whole shower setup. Like I've mentioned in other videos, I typically do 1 to 2 night camping trips, so I don't even use these most of the time, but if I have a lot of bug spray on me and I'm just kind of feeling gross, I'll wipe myself down with one of these. I also have regular wet wipes in here, and I have this biodegradable wet wipes under here, and then this Coughlin's personal tissue, which I think is also biodegradable toilet paper. I haven't actually even opened that yet. And then I have in here some soap. And then I have a little thing of sunscreen in here too. So this is biodegradable soap. You can get Camp Suds or Dr. Bronner's. And that's basically it in my kind of personal hygiene section. I have a dog, so in here I just kind of keep his bowls, food. I always kind of have extra food. I'm running low here, so I'll fill that back up, and then dog treats. So this is a water and a food bowl that I just keep in here for my dog. Here I have a hammock. This is an Eno double nest, though any hammock will obviously suffice. And then in between here, I could put it in here because I have plenty of room, but these are the straps, the tree straps for them. I have a pair of gloves that I just didn't use for anything else. I have tons of gloves everywhere, so these are just general gloves if I need to throw some wood around. I keep work gloves always in my truck, so that's typically what I'll use, but these are just kind of a backup pair in case I don't have them for some other reason. This is a work light, really, so it's has a couple settings and it has magnetic feet here. So I actually magnetize this, just stick it to my door, or my hood, or my roof, and can get some general flood lighting with this. It is rechargeable, and I do sometimes use it as an actual work light. I'll grab it out of my tub and use it to work on my truck or something sometimes. This is a cool thing. This is a ram mount with a tough claw and a magnet. One sec. So another video was requested to talk about magnets. So here is an iPad. This is a big one. This is the 12 point something inch iPad Pro. And I have just one of these metal plates on the back of the case here. This is a RAM magnet mount. So this system will allow me to hook this guy. This is a claw that you can cinch down to my rooftop tent. Has poles inside, so I can hook this to a pole, magnet it, and then I can watch a movie or a show. So I download for offline use movies or shows or YouTube videos or whatever on my iPad, and then I can watch them. I have some RAM setups in my car, so sometimes when it's really cold, if I'm with my girlfriend or something, then I will go into the truck, run the heater for a while, and it's basically like a drive-in movie. Put the iPad in the front, and we can watch a movie and warm up before bed or whatever. So we've done that, and then this is also, you can watch a movie before bed or just in the tent if you feel like it, if weather's crappy or you just have nothing else to do. Watch a movie in the tent. A lot of people don't like bringing electronics. They try to escape that when they go camping or whatever, but I'm a nerd and it's a good time. I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't have a lot of downtime at home during the day. I'm working a lot and doing stuff. So when I go camping, it's kind of nice to have downtime and watch a movie or something like that for me. So that's kind of just the setup I use. Then in here I have kind of a long leash that I'll, depending on the campsite, maybe tie my dog up to. This is a light. It's a rechargeable. This is a collar rather that I can turn on and has different flashing modes and stuff. So if a tray's out and it's a campsite that may have traffic at night and I have him off leash, he doesn't always have great recall. He usually does. He's pretty good off leash if there's not a lot of distractions, and even if there are distractions, he's kind of used to the cars driving by, so he doesn't chase after him. But for some reason, if I'm camping near to a road and I think there might be traffic at night, I'll toss this collar on him and turn it into the flash mode. So either I can kind of locate him easily if he's running through the woods far away, which he usually doesn't do or a vehicle or something could see them easier. So I don't always put that on. It's kind of dependent to the situation. I don't always use this leash either, but it's in there just in case I need it. This is just an extra headlamp. I keep flashlights and headlamps in my car all the time, which is what I'll usually use when I'm camping. So this is just kind of a backup in case I don't have one. So this is a water filter. It's a Sawyer gravity-fed bag water filter. So you fill this bag up with dirty, well, there's a few ways you can use it, but one way is you fill this bag up with dirty water from a creek or whatever, and you put the filter on, hang it from something, and then gravity pushes the water through into another container, or you could just, you know, pour it into a bottle or whatever right out of the filter that screws into this basically. I have a couple other ones. I have a bigger, kind of more heavy duty one from Life Straw that I've used, and this one I haven't actually used. It was just a little smaller, so I picked it up to take up less space in my bag. It's something that I pretty much never use because I bring that 7-gallon jug with me. I typically will bring enough water for my whole trip and then some. So this is more of kind of a backup emergency item for filtering water, obviously. This is just for my awning. These are some kind of tie down ropes to secure it. Guy lines, I guess. This is paracord. This is, how much is it? 100 feet. So I had some like OD paracord that I was using for a while, but back when I used to backpack and stuff, it was nice to have a lot of the tents had reflective stuff on the lines, so you could see your tent so you don't trip over it at night with your headlamp on and stuff. So I bought 100 feet of this orange with reflective paracord. I figure that makes more sense when I'm camping. Not something, you know, I'll use in the end of the world if I'm trying to keep a low profile and be low vis. But for normal camping, it's nice if you're using paracord for something to be able to have this reflection so you can A, not trip over it as easy, and B, find it when you need to. This is a gallon Ziploc bag filled with other gallon Ziploc bags and trash bags. Like I mentioned earlier, I kind of have a system for my trash, but a couple extra trash bags in here just in case, and a couple other Ziploc bags because you probably, I do anyways, find myself wishing I had Ziploc bags a lot, whether I have steaks or something with a lot of extra juices. You try not to pour that stuff right onto the ground when you're camping, so you pack out everything that you pack in, and a lot of times packing out things is easier in a Ziploc bag than anything else. Here's kind of some miscellaneous electronic type gear. So I'll bring a Goal Zero or some other type of solar generator with me a lot of times that I don't keep in here. I keep those separately. And this is a little extension cord and kind of a splitter to use with either the outlet in my Tacoma. I have a 400 watt outlet in the back of my Tacoma that I'll use sometimes. So I have a 400 watt outlet in the back of my Tacoma that I'll use sometimes to charge up drone batteries or do other things. So I just kind of keep this in my camping bag. I also have some of these string light, they're called like fairy lights or something, that are battery powered if I want to set up around camp to give that type of feel, and just a bunch of extra batteries in here. So this is kind of my electronics bag, so to speak. And that's it for that side. And as you can maybe see, maybe you can't, this isn't filled all the way up to the top, so there's room here if I want to just throw more stuff situationally, some ponchos or some umbrellas or blankets, or anything you feel like that you might need situationally, depending on the weather or what activities you might want to do. I leave a little bit of extra room in here to put stuff on this side. Maybe I'll put hot dog buns or chips or something like that. So I don't usually pack it to the very brim, and I kind of use that mentality for all my stuff, bags, my truck. I try to leave extra space for gear that I might want to add to it situationally. All right, so we'll get into this little middle portion that I kind of use for just taller items to separate them from, just to add a little more separation in here. So here I have a little fire extinguisher. I have a bigger fire extinguisher in my truck at all times, but it's good to have, you know, fire extinguishers when you're camping because you may be using fire. I'm not using fire because there's crazy burn bans in Colorado. And actually, I think the burn bans just got lifted today, so hopefully I'll get out and do some more shooting and be able to have campfires again. This is bear spray that I keep in the bag. I also keep a big kind of Riot pepper spray in my truck at all times. This is a lantern. This is probably my favorite lantern currently. It's not, I don't even know what brand it is. Power Light, waterproof light. It's got a flashlight on the end of it. It's got lantern mode with three actually different brightnesses. It's got this thing that looks like a cop car kind of that I think might be illegal to use here in America. I'm not sure. Then this yellow thing that's supposed to like keep away mosquitoes, but I actually tried it this last trip and it seemed to attract mosquitoes just like a regular light. So I don't really know what the yellow light is for as far as mosquitoes go, how they tout it. However, I do like the yellow light kind of at night as I'm getting ready for bed. Kind of the same mentality of how you have those blue light type filters on your phone or whatever. I do like using the yellow light before bed. The really nice thing about this is it's rechargeable. It has these magnets here, so this will just stick to the side of my truck or to anything if I need to illuminate an area like that. Or I put one of these little carabiners onto the top of it with a little key ring, so then I can hang it from stuff as well. These carabiners I use for everything. You get like a 12-pack of them. I'll link them. Really convenient. So that's a lantern. Here's another lantern. This one is solar powered. I think I mentioned this in another video actually, so it didn't hold up. So I put some little magnets and I super glued them here to test if that would hold up. And actually I see it right here on my speaker. So this magnet fell off, so I'll try to use some kind of a different glue. Anyway, I super glued magnets to the bottom of this so that I could stick it to my truck or something and use as a lantern that way. And it works really well. I used it like that last time I went out. So this is just a lantern with a couple different modes. And when you collapse it down, you can also use this like a flashlight. And solar powered, or you charge it with a USB. The other nice thing is that it is actually a battery bank, so you could in a pinch charge your cell phone or another USB device off of the lantern. So this is just kind of a nice lantern for, you know, if you're doing multiple days, you can just charge it in the sun during the day and use it at night. And then I have another solar powered lantern, which is this one, which is kind of interesting. It kind of folds out like a flower or something. So solar panels on top, that's how you charge it. And then this one actually gets really bright. And same deal, has two brightness settings and a kind of flashing setting. So those keep in there. And then I have which is a JBL Pulse speaker. And this is just, you know, it's not the most amazingly powerful Bluetooth speaker out there, but I like it because it has different light modes. In the last video you might have seen, if I remember, I'll splice it in here, but I probably won't remember. You can put it in kind of like almost a campfire mode. So when there's a burn ban, you can put this in the camp ring and kind of have the feel of a campfire with music, and has a bunch of different light settings. So it's just kind of a fun little Bluetooth speaker if you like listening to music and you want a little bit more light ambience for nighttime. So that's kind of what I keep in the middle section. And then now we're over to the food section. Here I keep a bag of food. This typically isn't my primary food source, though it certainly could be. I have some Mountain House, some Backpackers Pantry, some Spam, If I want to make a quick spam musubi, no, actually I don't make spam musubis when I go camp. Spam and rice or something, I like this, throwback to my Hawaii days. And then I have some hot chocolate mix in here, and some of these, what are they, Millennium Energy bars. So these are just kind of like 400 calories of kind of a survival bar, but I really like them. It's like they're like a hard angel food cake kind of. So this is food that I keep in here for emergencies in case I forget my primary food and need to use this as a backup, or just need some more food, or somebody else forgot food, or if I find myself in some kind of survival type situation. I have a handful of meals here that I keep in here all the time. They have long shelf lives. They're not really affected by the weather, though I do keep this bin in my garage, which is insulated and heated, so my particular stuff doesn't ever freeze or get any crazy temperatures. If it does, I don't know how the Spam would fare, because it does have, you know, juice kind of in there. But everything else probably is pretty good. I have this little, I think it's a Stanley. Yeah, Stanley. This is a little pot, basically. This is what I use to boil water in if I'm going to make hot chocolate or water for something like this. I'll usually boil it in here. It's a nice little thing. Inside of it, I think it comes with 2 of these little insulated cups. I do keep a couple packets of hot chocolate in here as well. And instead of the second one, I have this titanium mug that just fits in here real nice. So I keep that in there for basically my water needs. I used to keep a jet boil in here for when I need to boil water real quick, but I've just been doing it on my single stove that I have in here. So that's in there. And then here is another pot set. And this I kind of have, this is kind of my backup cooking set, or if I need a pot, I'll use it. But usually the meals I make are in a pan, or they're water in this thing. But if I need to make a pot, if I'm going to make some chili or some beans or something, then I'll get this out. In here I have an Emberlit stove. So this is, it's a tight fit to get in here. This bag basically fits it perfectly. It wasn't with the Emberlit, but if I remember, I'll link to it. It's kind of like a 3-pack of bags that are just kind of Cordura, and I use them for a variety of things, and the Emberlit fits right in here. So the Emberlit is my backup stove, or if I just feel like being fun and cooking with wood on a little stove, that's what this is. Kind of a nice little survival stove. And it packs in nice and fits kind of right on top of this pot. This is a Primus pot, Primus maybe? I don't know how it's pronounced even. I think Primus. It's an aluminum. I used it when I was backpacking back in the day and just still have it. Some tissue in here. I don't really know why. I think I just had that as extra fire starter for that if I needed it. This is a little Primus. This is like I forget, but one of those like micro stoves that folds out. Super old. This is another old backpacking stove that I used years ago. Oops. And it uses these little fuel canisters. So I have one of these in here, and these are the legs for it to make it a little more stable. This is a little cleaning sponge and some matches in here, a little bowl, and then I have some plasticware and some seasoning, salt and peppers, and some sugars and stuff that I just keep in here all the time. So yeah, that goes back in here, lid goes back on, it goes in this little bag. This is a little REI bag. I don't know, it says REI on it, and this is not an REI pot, so I don't really know what this bag is from. But I just use it because it keeps this whole unit with the Emberlit contained well. Here's a towel. This is just a big towel that I use for my hand washing, really, and it gets tossed back in here. Here I have kind of the cooking stuff I use the most. So in this other bag, this is a Christmas themed gallon bag, I have a couple spatulas and spoons, a set of tongs, and some eating utensils, like a long aluminum spoon. Let me get it out here real quick. This long aluminum spoon, I like this one. It's a really long handle for eating food right out of the bag. So if you have backpacking food, you know, you boil the water and you dump it in the bag and let it cook in there. If you don't want to, basically, I either cut the bag with an axe or with some scissors or a knife, so that way it's not as deep and it's easier to get in there. or I'll use this long spoon because it gets down in there much easier. This is it's titanium. I forget what brand it is. Tote. And this is like a Sea to Summit maybe. Nope, this is a titanium Snow Peak. Anyway, some spoons and sporks. I have a couple short little skewers in here just because they fit in the bag perfectly if I want to make some marshmallows up or something. I have a couple other random utensils and a lighter in here as well. Here I'll just usually rip off a handful of paper towels to use camping. I do keep a roll of paper towels in my truck that I'll use a lot of times, and then just kind of a stack of paper plates. Just because it's easy. This is a pan that I've had for a little bit, and I just liked it. It's a little lightweight aluminum one that has this handle that folds up on here. So nice and compact, and that kind of just fits down in here nicely. And then here I have my stove. This is the single burner that I've been using. I found that I just wasn't using my double burner stoves that often, but I did give my Coleman that has a grill on it to my friend who comes camping with me most of the time. So we'll usually use that grill if he's with me to cook hot dogs on. If he's not, I'll use this. And I use this to boil water, or I can also use this, put the pan on it, and make hot dogs. This is a little super mini butane stove that I really like. Sorry, I haven't been looking at the screen at all. Hopefully things have been in the frame. So they use these little butane canisters. So butane's a little bit better at higher altitude. These cans are a little bit smaller than the propane, like the green propane ones, and they're relatively cheap and lightweight. So this just pops in here. This thing has its own igniter, as well as a fuel. Obviously you can turn it low and high. And it has a really nice flame actually. So the flame comes out of the middle, this little part here, as well as the outside. So I can still use it on this. This kind of barely fits. I kind of gotta not really balance it because it's not like teetering, but I kind of gotta position it right in the middle of these legs. And this will work. It'll boil this very small pot on there still. So that's nice. And then what I do is I usually just take two butane fuels. One lasts me way more than I need. I use maybe like an 1/8 or a 10th even of butane fuel, cooking up a couple meals on this thing depending on what I'm making. So this butane lasts me multiple trips on one, but I will always bring two just because I want to use my whole butane fuel. So I'll put a little dot. I don't know if you can see it. I'll just put a little dot with a Sharpie on the one that's like in use. And then I have a second one. Let me put this back away real quick. So this fits in here. It doesn't fit with the bottle in here, unfortunately. I think they just don't want you, traveling with the butane in here. So it doesn't fit in there with that. But a nice little case that just doesn't take up much room, obviously. Fits right in here. So the one butane, I want to say butane for some reason. I don't know why. The one butane canister I keep in here with a little mark on the lid, and then I keep a second canister over here as well. Let me slide this over a little bit. So the second canister obviously doesn't have a mark. That means it's the full canister. So I always have the remainder of one canister plus one full canister. Once that's out, obviously this will be the one that I put a mark on, and I'll put a new butane canister in here. This is just a big K-bar knife. This is a Tonto one. It's fun to throw and just, use it. It's not really a survival knife, but I can use it for general big knife kind of bushcrafting tasks if I need to. And then really, usually I'll use this little Gerber hatchet around the camp to get it some kindling done or whatever. If I need to kind of bang in a stake or something, I can use this as well. It has a little kind of hammer end, but it's really thin. But yeah, it's really thin, so I'll oftentimes just hit it like with the side of it like that. And that's it. I think that's the last item I have in the bin. So yeah, that ended up being a super long video and detailed, but I think that's what you guys were looking for. So that's that. Take the ideas for what they are. This is just kind of the setup that has evolved for me to work well for me over the years. My setup is kind of always changing, so like I've mentioned in other videos, and like a lot of you guys know, I test a lot of gear for a lot of different companies, so this kit kind of evolved. This is just what I'm using now. Some of these items are staples that I've kind of used forever, and others are new things that I've been kind of testing out. I'm always kind of testing out new lights and stuff. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you got any tips or ideas to make this kit better, I always enjoy reading the comments down below. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, get subscribed, man. Hit that notification icon as well. I do release time-sensitive videos with coupons and things like that as well, so you definitely want to get that notification icon. I have a Patreon if you feel like supporting me over there as well. Hit that thumbs up button. Just takes 1 second. This is thumbs up. This is up. Thumbs up. If you remember, as always, thanks for watching. Take care.